Hey there guys, so in this video I'm going to be going up against KENOB, which KENOB is obviously a very well-known Alliance for Alliance. They're a very good, very strong team. They have been for a while. Maybe they haven't been at their best the past couple seasons, but they're still absolute beasts at this game. They have some very good players, so it's always a tough war. It's always, go full tryhard. So when I got my team and my assignments for this war, I was pretty happy. I actually got a couple more fights and actual mini bosses, so I was really happy about that. I always like getting more fights, I know it's selfish, but it's always more fun when you get to play more, right? So, it's what it is. It's what it is. So, I made a mistake on my masteries, but I was swapping on suicides because when I saw my team, I knew I needed suicides for at least all the fights, kinda, for most of the fights. I didn't need them, but I wanted them on, if that makes sense. So I'm turning on suicides, and I thought, hey, this is a good time. I can just start the recording here. I can show myself resetting my masteries. It's not the most important thing, but I was just replacing some of my points so that I could have max deep wounds, max assassins, or not max assassins, max suicides. So this first fight is up against Path 5. This is a path I've taken a fair few times this season and last season with this Mole Man here. So Mole Man is a global defender, so every 10 seconds he will gain an armor up buff. You can prevent that armor up buff through ability accuracy reduction or something that prevents the buff before it applies, something like neutralize or fate sealing. But if you notice, none of my champs have that, but two of them, actually all three of them technically, have ability accuracy reduction. But this node has force of will, so that doesn't really matter here. So there's no real workaround for this armor up buff here, and every time it triggers, there's a 30% chance that he will be gaining an unstoppable buff or passive, that makes him go stun immune as well. So right here, he's debuff immune, but I actually could parry him because the plan was to put the white Magneto there, so that way I can parry during that phase. But he happened to get the unstoppable. I dropped this first SP2, and because of the 200% power back boost, I get all the way back up, even though I lost the Fury for part of it. But here on this one, I get the perfect lineup. He comes out, and I get to let him throw it right as the force right back at it drops, and my Fury is up for all but one hit of my SP2, so it absolutely nukes him, and that's him done. Now, Apocalypse has a ton of health, so he only lost 15% health there, but 14,000 health wasn't even enough, so I used a little small potion, just top him up, because this Nick Fury is my next fight. Sorry, my nose, it's still the same night as the previous video, so my nose has just been a little bit temperamental tonight. Sorry if you hear some blowing and stuff. So this Nick Fury here can be a very tough fight if he does not cooperate with you, if he doesn't go for intercepts, if you mismanage your power. The plan for this fight for me was when I throw... So when he goes into the LMD, he becomes stun immune, so you can't parry for an opening. Intercepting in war can be risky at best, right? And this node also has the protection on knockdown, and I can't use a stun to do it. So my goal is to have a bar of power, 1 to 2 bars of power when he enters this mode. If you notice, I have 3. Messed up. I actually boosted too big for a fight for once. Not my damage boost, but the power boost. If I had used an 150 instead of a 200, it would have been fine. I just didn't think my SP2 would hit that hard. It literally took off most of his health. Actually, I think even just 150 might have been too much. I literally might have just been too boosted. So I needed to try to use this SP1 that I got back to knock him down, because the knockdown can be from a special. So once I knock him down with the special, I'll get all my damage back, and I should be able to finish him. But this happened last season when I fought a Nick Fury as well. He didn't throw his special for the entire board. I just don't get it. Some Nick Furies are so temperamental at this for me. I just don't get it. So if you notice, because of the concussion I believe I had on him for my SP3, I kind of forgot to double check that, but because of that, it ends up being that he loses the protection permanently. So I go in, he has a bar of power, but I'm Apocalypse, and I'm bleed immune, so I was comfortable enough going for a backdraft intercept, so I go for that light backdraft there, and I nuke him down. Finish that last 20% off. and it was a pretty good fight. It went well. So this is now section 2. I had to coordinate with my alliance mates because I needed a white Magneto for 2 fights. So this is one of the first time, or the first time I've used this in war. Like second or third war I've used this champion in war, but not in war period, but at rank 3. I'm getting to use Horseman rank 3 Archangel. So I throw on that regen boost because I still have suicides on. I'll be healing from the bleed at the start, but I wanted just to make sure, just in case, that I was going to have plenty of health. So I throw on that regen boost, and it should last into that Kingpin fight. So this node has buffet, but Archangel ignores it through ability accuracy and a heal block. And, right, as I said, I'm healing much more than I'm losing health through the poison and the bleed. I shouldn't be baiting the heavies there, I was just missing my parries. My officer literally told me, just don't miss your parries and it's an easy fight. And then my first 2 parries I kind of missed, but that heavy... So it was about 20 seconds of setup, and then in 10 seconds, it was like 30 seconds of setup, and in 10 seconds she lost the remaining 60% of her health. So once I got those neurotoxins actually on her, stupid easy. So this Kingpin here, I got the white Magneto for this fight. It gives me extra attack, but it also just allows me to just parry him. I don't have to worry about anything else in this fight, and the bleeds you apply with Archangel lower the chance for shrugging off abilities to trigger, plus the chance provided by neurotoxins. So once you're at 4, they can't shrug anything off, and if you have a neurotoxin on and only like 1 bleed, it's already done. 30-second fight. Archangel at rank 3 is just so good. His sig is still pretty low, but just absolutely insane. I was looking at my health, I'm like, oops, sorry. And I was like, do I need to heal him up? I guess I might as well. Because there was one issue that I was worried about with this fight. So it kind of works that any single unstoppable effect triggered, if they are a global defender, will get the effects of having stun immunity with it. So Annihilus, when he puts the stifles on you, if you dash back while stifled, he gains an unstoppable buff. And his wing strikes are already stun immune. Plus, with the unstoppable stun immune of dashing backwards, he can be stun immune for a big portion of the fight. And this node has Conflictor, which is basically shrugging off debuffs version of Buffet, right? So whenever he has a debuff applied to him, he might shrug it off and gain power. So I have to watch out for that, I have to watch out for the stifles. But the passive stun bypasses his stun immunity for the most part. Except if it's from the global with the armor. But I have 6 neurotoxins on him, so I'm just going to throw my SP1, and that's the fight, pretty much, right? Like, it was a really, really quick fight. Archangel just absolutely hammered through him. Great counter there. As I said, this is against KENOB, 6-1. Probably not their best war, I would assume, ever. Or I know it's not their best war, even this season. But that's a really, really good win for us. Our 1 death is actually a timeout to a boss. I've heard there's a bug with that boss. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that, but it was a timeout. It wasn't even like they lost. Got my buddy Agent down there at MVP number 1. We absolutely crushed this war. I don't think you can really ask for much better. It would have been so cool to get that 0 deaths, but you can't always have everything in the world, right? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope to see you guys soon. Bye. Have a good one.